Toronto's oldest operating movie theatre is turning 110 years old this year, with celebrations happening this month. The Revue Cinema has been a fixture in the city's West End since 1912. Now, through the decades, it has faced a lot of changes, but over a century later, it continues to thrive thanks to its unique programming and a devoted community of film lovers. I sat down with programming director Serena Whitney and chair of the Revue Film Society, Grant Oyston, to talk about how they keep the audiences coming. What do you think makes this cinema so special?
I think there's not many left, right? If you look back 100 years ago, there were dozens and dozens of independent cinemas all over the city, and there's been so much consolidation that it's a pretty unique experience in the city now, what we offer here at the Revue, and certainly in the West End community. I think really it comes down to the evolution that we've experienced over the years. The cinema has constantly reinvented itself each decade with changing tastes and changing demographics.
That's 110 years of changes. The Revue first opened in 1912 as a first-run theatre showing the latest films. It spent some time as a German cinema in the 60s before becoming an art house and repertory theatre in 1972. It continued as a repertory cinema showcasing classics and second-run films when it became part of the city's Festival Cinemas chain in the 80s. But then in 2006, its future was suddenly uncertain when it faced closure following the death of its owner.
This can't be. It doesn't make sense. Why?
The community quickly sprang into action, forming the Revue Film Society to help save the theatre. And a year after it closed, its doors were open again.
I have no doubt that without the support of the community, this would have become a Rexall a long time ago.
The Revue Film Society continues to operate the theatre to this day as a nonprofit. And while some of the big multiplexes have been struggling recently due to the rise in streaming, audiences have continued to pack the 236-seat Revue Cinema.
Taking, into consideration how old this theater is and how many technological advances that we've gone through since like 110 years, like television, VCRs, Betamax, DVDs, Blu-rays, hasn't really affected people going to the cinema. We're noticing that viewers or, cinema goers are actually wanting to go see older films on the big screen again.
Whitney says it comes down to the unique programming.
Last month in October, we celebrated our highest grossing month in probably Revue history. We have the longest running film series in Toronto called Silent Revue, which specializes in silent film. I really enjoy Destination Love, where every 2 months we highlight romantic films from a certain city or location, and the midnight screenings, bringing back the midnight viewing experience.
One of my favorites is Designing the Movies with Natalie Atkinson. She's a style writer, critic, and she does these amazing little pre-shows, and she'll talk through some of the design choices, the sets, the fashion choices. And then as you watch the film, you can kind of pull out all these details that she's identified, and I think it really changes the film viewing experience. I think one of the great things about being in Toronto, it's such a diverse city with so much interest in film. It's really a film city, I think. There's loads of film lovers, and the Revue has always been able to find those niches that maybe aren't being served by other cinemas.
Do you get a lot of requests?
Oh, absolutely. we get a lot of requests, and we take some of them.
I was going to ask, do you ever?
You can't take all
no,
of
you
them.
can't take all of them. Looking ahead to the future of Revue Cinema, what do you foresee?
I foresee far more diverse programming. We want to program more Canadian content and just make everyone feel like they can see themselves on the big screen.
Do you think there will always be an audience for cinemas like this?
I hope so. I think that the fundamental experience of going to the movies is so different from watching in your own home, in terms of being surrounded by the audience and hearing the oohs and ahs and the shocks of horror, and the big screen experience, right? It's immersive in a way that most people's home theater can never aspire to be, and it's the idea of going out for a night, right, and treating yourself and your friends or your family to a night at the movies. So yeah, I hope that never changes.